Vrindo.
Jaya Advaita Chandra Jaya Gaura Bhakta
Jaya Jaya Sri Chaitanya Jaya Nityananda.
Jaya Jaya Sri Chaitanya Jaya Nityananda
Jaya Advaita Chandra Jaya Gaura Bhakta Vrinda.
Jaya Advaita Chandra Jaya Gaura Bhakta
Jaya Jaya Sri Chaitanya Jaya Nityananda.
Jaya Jaya Sri Chaitanya Jaya Nityananda
Jaya Advaita Chandra Jaya Gaura Bhakta Vrinda.
Jaya Advaita Chandra Jaya Gaura Bhakta Vrinda
Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram 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 Hare Hare
Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram 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 Hare Hare
Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram 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 Hare Hare
Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram 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 Hare Hare
Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Rama Hare Hare
Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Rama Hare Hare
Alors c'est quoi le verset aujourd'hui?
Sorry,
What's the verse?
17, 1-7.
1-7. Ah, okay. Jaya, oh, thank you. Hare Krishna. Jaya Jaya Sri Chaitanya Jaya Jaya Sri Chaitanya Jaya Nityananda.
Jaya Jaya Sri Chaitanya Jaya Nityananda
Jaya Advaita Chandra Jaya Gaura Bhakta Vrindo.
Jaya Advaita Chandra Jaya Gaura Bhakta Vrinda
Jaya Jaya Sri Chaitanya Jaya Nityananda.
Jaya Jaya Sri Chaitanya Jaya Nityananda
Jaya Advaita Chandra Jaya Gaura Bhakta Vrindo.
Jaya Advaita Chandra Jaya Gaura Bhakta Vrinda
Jaya Jaya Sri Chaitanya Jaya Nityananda.
Jaya Jaya Sri Chaitanya Jaya Nityananda
Jaya Advaita Chandra Jaya Gaura Bhakta Vrindo.
Jaya Advaita Chandra Jaya Gaura Bhakta Vrinda
Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram 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 Hare Hare
Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Rama Hare Hare
Jai Shri Chaitanya Charitamrita ki jai.
Jai
I won't be able to read, it's too small. The Bengali writing is too small. I need my loop now. Janat, no, Shulov, no, I prefer not, it's too small. I need
English is bigger if you
yeah,
want.
it will be here. Alors, Yanata Shulobha Muktir,
Yata Sulabha Muktir
Bukir Jayadi Punyata,
Muktir Yakyadi Punyata
Seyam Sadhana Saharsrer,
Seyam Sadhana Sahasre
Hari Bhakti Sudulabha,
Hari Bhakti Sudulabha
Gyanata Sulabha Mukti,
Jnanata Sulabha Muktir
Bhukti Yagyadi Punyata,
Bhukti Yakyadi Punyata
Seyam Sadhana Sakarer,
Seyam Sadhana Sahasre
Hari Bhakti Sudulabha.
Hari Bhakti Sudulabha
Allez-y, va.
Jnanata Sulabha Mukti
Jnanata Sulabha Mukti
Bhukti Yajnadi Punyata
Bhukti Yajyadi Punyata
Seyam Sadhana Sahasrai
Seya Sadhana Sahasre,
Hari Bhakti Sudulabha
Hari Bhakti Sudulabha.
Nyatva sulabha mukti.
Yattata sulabha mukti.
Mukti yaknyadi punyata.
Mukti yanyadi punyata.
Seyam sadhana sahasre.
Seyam sadhana sahasre.
Hari bhakti sudurlabha.
Hari bhakti sudurlabha. Jnanata, by cultivation of knowledge.
By cultivation of knowledge.
Sulabha,
Easily
obtainable. Mukti,
Liberation.
Bhukti, sense enjoyment. Yajna adi, performance of sacrifice, etc. Punyata, and by performing pious activities. Sa, that. Iyan, this. Sadhana sahasre, execution of thousands of sacrifices. Hari Bhakti, devotional service. Sudurlabha is very rare. Translation and purport by Srila Prabhupada. By cultivating philosophical knowledge, one can understand his spiritual position and thus be liberated. And by performing sacrifices and pious activities, one can achieve sense gratification in a higher planetary system. But the devotional service of the Lord is so rare that even by executing hundreds and thousands of such sacrifices, one cannot obtain it. You can repeat after me, please. By cultivating philosophical knowledge, one can understand his spiritual position. And thus be liberated. And by performing sacrifices and pious activities, one can achieve sense gratification on a higher planetary system. But the devotional service of the Lord is so rare that even by executing hundreds and thousands of such sacrifices, one cannot obtain it. Sudurlabha, very purport. Prahlad Maharaj instructs, Matirna Krishna Bharatak Sadova Vidyo Vidyadyeta Kriya Vratanam Anante Bhugir Vishatam Tamishram Punaha Punasa Vidyatanam. Après, il y a aussi dit Nesimmatistavad Ukramangrim.
Nesimmatistavad Ukramangrim Spesht Anarthapagam Pagamo Yadartha Mahi Yashapad Raju Vishekam Nishkinchananam Navrinita Yavat.
These slokas are to be discussed. The purport is that one cannot obtain Krishna Bhakti or the devotional service of the Lord by official execution of the Vedic rituals. One has to approach a pure devotee. Narottam Das Thakur sings, Chadiya Vaishnava Seva Nishtara Payetse Keba. Who has been elevated without rendering service to a pure Vaishnava? I repeat again. Who has been elevated without rendering service to a pure Vaishnava? It is the statement of Prahlad Maharaj that unless one is able to accept the dust from the lotus feet of a pure Vaishnava, there is no possibility of achieving the platform of devotional service. That is the secret. The above mentioned Tonta Vachana, quoted from the Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu 136, is our perfect guidance in this connection. Om Agyanat Mirandasya Gyananjana Shalakarya Chakshur Militam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namah.
Vishtam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamayyam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yuta Shri Guru Vaishnavamscha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunatham Vitantam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadhutam Harijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padam Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakhan Vitamscha He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dinabandhu Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Tapta Kanshana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanusute Devi Pranamami Hari Priye Vancha Kalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhu Vyayevacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha.
Okay, everything has been said. Unless you get the mercy of a pure devotee or you can serve his lotus feet, there is no chance to practice devotional service. Thank you. Sarira Vijaja. It's interesting because I have, while reading this verse, it reminds me of a very strong experience I had. I was at Radha Damodar temple in Vrindavan, if you've been there. That's the place where Srila Prabhupada used to live, you know. And you do the parikrama. Someone has been there? Two of you. And so while doing the parikrama, I stopped before the Pushpa Samadhi of Bhaktisiddhanta Maharaj, you know. And naturally I fell flat, you know, I offered Dandavat, you know, and it comes so strongly in my mind or in my heart, I don't know, one or the other, maybe the heart, that who has ever gone back to Godhead without receiving the mercy of a pure devotee? And it became very emotional, you know. That's our way, you know. As Indradevnath Swami used to say, we are not a movement of qualification. We have a movement of relation, you know. If by chance we become related of someone to someone which is, je parle en français, en anglais. We become acquainted or appreciated or related with someone who himself is dear to Krishna, then we have some chance. This person will invite us, will ask Krishna, please, can you accept this person, and so on and so forth. Same way we can reach Krishna, you know, if Radharani, if we somehow that we have the mercy of Srimati Radharani, because Krishna is handpicked, you know, handpicked, is completely controlled by Srimati Radharani. If she says to Krishna, please accept this person, Krishna cannot refuse. And actually we are not the devotee of Krishna. They are called Kashnas. You know, there was Bhaktisiddhanta Maharaj was giving one lecture in Radhakund, and Vaishnavas are worshippers of Vishnu, worshippers of Krishna are Kashnas, and worshippers of Srimati Radharani are Gaudiya Vaishnavas. Actually, they say we appreciate Krishna because Radharani appreciates Krishna. We go through Radharani to Krishna. There's the same principle, you know. Through the mercy of a devotee, we can be elevated. And through the mercy of Srimati Radharani, we can also reach the lotus feet of Krishna, which is, as you see, is very rare. There is one nice verse given by Narottam Das Thakur in his book, and it says, what he says, how it starts, the section of the Vedas, Karma Kanda, Jnana Kanda, section of Karma Kanda and Jnana Kanda. Karma Kanda, Jnana Kanda, Kevala Bishiro Bando. These two are actually pots of poison. The Vedas, section of the Karma Kanda, Jnana Kanda, Kevala Bishiro Bando, Amrita Bolio Jagokai. If someone drink from these pots, amrita, pots of poison, which are pots of poison, thinking that they are nectar. Krishna, Karmakanda Kivarabi, Abrita Bolyoju, Nana Joni Shadofiri, Kodorjo Bokoto Kore, Tor Janma Odopotejai. And if he drinks this pot from this pot of poison, what will happen to him? He will take birth again and having in a very and eating all kind of abominable thing, and his Tonjanma Odopoteja, his life is lost. You know. Imagine if you read Karmakanda, Gyanakanda, which you think it is Vedas, you know, but they are considered by Vaishnava like pots of poison. So we see the path of devotional service, it cannot be very easily found unless we follow someone which is really conversant with the scriptures and with the spiritual path. You know, what to speak of the spiritual path when we can lose ourselves even on the material path. You know, lose our life, engage in alcoholism, or lose our path. Also, we cannot go if we don't have a GPS. You know, we don't know how to go. You know, what to speak of the spiritual path. That's the mercy of Srila Prabhupada, which is a pure devotee of the Lord, which is very conversant with the conclusion of the scriptures, you know, who has a realized knowledge and of Krishna. That he states, you know, the body is compared to this human body, called a solid boat to cross over the ocean of ignorance, and the scriptures are favorable winds, the winds, and the spiritual master is the driver, him which is steering the boat in the right direction, you know. So this is very important to be related to a spiritual master. I've heard even the association of devotees is more important even than to chant Hare Krishna. And it can be, I can give you an example very vivid, you know, which when I was a new devotee, it's quite personal, but after all, it's not a big thing, yeah? You see, to be related with devotees is very crucial. So I was a new devotee, and the Bhakta leader, he told us, we understand because you come from the material world, so you have necessarily some habits, maybe you need to smoke, you know. So, following this facility, between two lectures, I went at the corner. It was at the time of Rue Le Sueur, if you heard about this. And I went and smoked some cigarette. And I came back, and one devotee shake my kurta, and packet of gitan came out. Immediately they took me up, they cut my sika, and they kicked me out of the temple. At that time it was very, now it's more mellow, you know, but at that time it was quite strict and rigid, you know. I remember in Rue Le Sueur, behind the counter, there was American Fist and Nunchaku, and, you know, devotees were quite fierce, and there was even a gun on the top, American style, you know. So I was, you know, I'd converted myself to the ISKCON, to Krishna consciousness, and I find myself again in the street, you know. And it was my life had become like, let's see, a flower, you know, with the, how you call it, a tige, flower.
The stem.
With the stem is more on the flower. Anyway.
Lotus.
Huh?
Lotus?
Yes, no problem. So, like my life had become like only the stem, I don't know what, but without the flower. I was really disturbed, you know. And somehow or other I went to sneak before the temple. I had been ejected, so I was thinking, finish, you know. But somehow or other I could not just forget what had happened, that I had become a devotee. And the door of the temple was open. And there was this little boy whose name is Narada Muni. He's still Narada Muni, but now he's an adult, of course. He was a baby. He was standing in the entrance of the temple. And I was very very disturbed, As I said, my life like a flower, but there's no more flower. There's only the thing, So I was sneaking in the temple, and he was sitting in the middle of this entrance, and I just when I touched his sika like this, just like this, and I get away, and it completely washed me off all this heavy burden of my situation, I felt completely cleansed. Imagine, not even an exalted devotee, just a baby, baby devotee, which had given me, even he didn't realize it, which had given me the hope that my life was not finished after all, just by touching his head like this only, So we see that the association of devotees is very crucial, and there are many examples of devotees who had gone through. I remember there was a class of one devotee whose name is Dhananjaya. He was a regular Prabhupada disciple. He was a regular Prabhupada. He was a Prabhupada disciple and used to regularly go to visit with George Harrison. His famous George Harrison is very much related to his Krishna consciousness. And he told us actually that George Harrison was very, very humble, and every time he would come to meet Prabhupada, he would come with a flower and pay full obeisances. And he went just to situate the person. And one day he gave the class, and the class was okay, we could listen, and it was, good words, but it was not so lively, let's say. And then at the last moment of the class, he told us that such and such devotee, even if you see him rolling in the gutter, gutter, the pavement, tu sais, c'est comment ça s'appelle, t'as le passage pour pied, t'as le trottoir, entre le trottoir et là où roulent les voitures, comment ça s'appelle, tu vois ce que je veux dire?
Chaussée.
Ouais, enfin, s'il est en train de rouler il y a un nom en français que j'oublie. If you see him rolling in a gutter, please, you have to pay obeisances to him, for he did so much to me, to raising this movement. Dans le caniveau. Si tu le vois en train de rouler dans le caniveau, if you see him rolling in the gutter, still you have to pay obeisances to him, because he did so much for me, Prabhupada. And he told us this little thing, and just from that, the class became very enlivening, So that's the mercy of Srila Prabhupada, actually, that he is the person who, as it is mentioned in this verse, by which we can be elevated to devotional service. So let's see those who knows Neha Bikramana Shasti, you can say the verse.
Neha Bikramana Shasti Pratvayona Vidyate Svalpamapi Asya Dharmasya Trayate Mahatuvayat.
So you can give the translation also.
Okay. In this endeavor, there is no loss in diminution, even a small input which we do.
How is it Sanskrit small? How is it said?
Alpa.
Svalpo.
Svalpa.
More than alpo. Very small.
Very small.
Yeah.
Then it can save us from the greatest of dangers.
And what Prabhupada says, what is the greatest dangers in the purport?
To take birth in the lower species.
Lower species. Take birth in lower species. Yeah, but not everyone is so fortunate, Even we can come very close to Krishna consciousness, but miss it somehow or other. I'll give you an example. You've heard about Timothy Leary? He was the Pope of LSD. He was very famous. Once there was a lady, a devotee, she gave him a piece of halva. And so he had the halva in his mouth, and she told him she should have shut her mouth, but anyway, she told him, I'm so happy, Timothy, because just by eating this halva, at least next life you will have a human body. And when he heard that, he gathered all what he had in the mouth and he spat it out, and he said, next life I want to be a ghost. So that's mean to miss the opportunity. Actually, I have had exact kind of same experience myself. I remember it was in the years maybe 75 or I don't know. I was Rue Le Sieur, where we had the temple, ISKCON Temple. And there was a big crowd in the street, so many people were there, And what is going on here? They said, we are expecting a very great personality. Who was that? Billy, Prabhupada. Yeah. But I didn't know anything. And there were people in the crowd who were looking like, on dit patibulaires en français, who were ugly looking, like, they look like real bandits, So I said, oh, this is not a place for me, And I left. So I missed Prabhupada by 5 seconds, 10 seconds or 1 hour. It's very insignificant. Yeah? It was not my chance, Although we say that by the association of devotees, 1 lava matra. How much is 1 lava matra? How much is it?
1/12 of a second.
He knows everything. He gives class sometimes.
He's shy.
Huh?
He's shy.
Yeah. So by meeting 1/11th of the second or 1/11th of part of the second, we can obtain pure perfection. And I didn't have that. I can see frankly, okay, we are following Prabhupada, everything, but those who have been in direct association with Srila Prabhupada, they speak differently than us. There is something special, like Ramdas or all these people, when they are asked to talk about Prabhupada, it's very vivid, very, very, very vivid. Even Mother Kishori, if you remember, when she saw Prabhupada, she was feeling that lifetimes and lifetimes and lifetimes were washed simply by his presence. So it is very extraordinary, finally, the mercy of the pure devotee. There's so many verses and so many instances. For example, when King Prataparudra, remember King Prataparudra? He was a pure devotee in his heart, but because he was a king, and Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was playing the part of a sannyasi, he said, I don't want to associate with this person. I don't want him to come close to me or anything, because kings, they are engaged in women relationships, money, politics, which have nothing to do with the sannyas order of life. So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu didn't want to associate so much with him, at all, even once. Still, he accepted to give, because King Prataparudra, he had a son whose complexion was similar to Krishna. So this child, Chaitanya Babu was very fond of him, and he reminded him about Krishna. So but King Prataparudra could not have access to the direct association with Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So the devotee, they manage a trick, because devotees are very merciful. They are more happy that someone comes to Krishna than themselves go to Krishna. Gopis have this same mentality, So they told to the king, don't worry. What you do, you dress yourself as a simple Vaishnava, dhoti, kurta, and humble. And now he's after Ratayatra, I think, he is resting in a garden, on the bench, and you try to meet him there. So King Prataparudra went there and started, dressed as a simple Vaishnava, massaging the lotus feet of the Lord, while singing this song, Tavakatam Mritam Tapta Jivanam
Kavipirititam Karmashapanam Shravanam Srimatatam Bhuvi Grananti Bhuvidajanam.
This is an excerpt from the Gopi Gita, I guess. It was chanted by gopis 5,000 years ago, and telling that no one is more merciful or more munificent person than him who is propagating the glories of Krishna around the world. Who is that? Can you relate this to somebody? What happened, I make it more simple maybe, that hearing that, although Chaitanya Mahaprabhu didn't want to approach, to touch the king, he jumped from his seat, and embraced him, and he said, you said the truth, you said the truth, So that's we understand that Gopi said, who is the most beneficent person who is distributing Krishna consciousness in the world? It was confirmed by Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, who embraced King Patraparaga for the truth of what he had said. And who is this, prophesies? Who does this prophesize? Who is the person who has started Krishna consciousness all around the world? Who is that person? Srila Prabhupada. So these two, two combined prophesize the upcoming that of Srila Prabhupada, which is giving Krishna to the whole world. What is this verse? Kalindo Pushka Birashum Yavanashkasha Yenyecha Papa Yadab Apasharya. Whoever, whether they be from lower caste, born with a thin mustache. Who are the people who have thin mustache? Who has thin mustache? Huh? Chinese. Yeah. Chinese and all that kind of people, whatever they are, they can be purified by a pure devotee of the Lord because he has surrendered to the highest authority. And we can see Prabhupada's books already have been spread all around the world, not only among scholars or amongst Indianist people, but everybody has access to this knowledge because he has surrendered to the highest authority, which is Krishna. And it's in second canto that verse, Kirata Hundera Pulinda Pukasha Abira Shubas Yavana Kashadaya Yenye Chapaya Ashada something. So it's become reality, And what did it say for Chaitanya Mahaprabhu? Pritivite Atse Yata Nagara Digram Salvatra Prochar Hoibem Molana. That my names will be my holy names will be spread all around the world in each Pritivite Atse Yata Nagara Digram, in each village or in each country. So it was unexpected, but we see it now by computers, by so many means, the names of Krishna is spread around the world, it was unimaginable before, Like in the Bible, Noah made this boat but nobody thinks, what is he doing? But then there's been a flood and all the species were saved. So, and this is due to, as the verse says, that's through the mercy of pure devotees. There's one story that was like that also. There was one guy that kind of just started, crying and running up and down, And at a certain point he went on the railway, and he was lying and the train came and he cut one of his leg. And they say, and he's chanting Ram, I don't know which name. And then the devotees were very much impressed, and they related this to Bhaktisiddhanta Maharaj, And then Bhaktisiddhanta Maharaj said, this man, he has a direct or indirect... Hare Krishna. You take prasadam? Will it say for prasadam? Balo? He has a direct relation or indirect relation with Krishna. And the guy said, direct. Then Bhaktisiddhanta Maharaj rejected him. What is this very famous verse? He who says he's my devotee. No? Prabhu? Prabhu Krishna said, he who says he's my devotee is not my devotee. But he who says he's the devotee of my devotee, this one is my devotee. The system of parampara, das anudas, dasya anudas. And the example at that time, Bhagavan says, Bhagavan, you've heard about him? He shows up now. We can see he gives so much comments on the Facebook. Before he had completely lost, we couldn't find him. he didn't show up for years, anyway. He gives that example of how can we come closer to Krishna when we become the servant of the servant of the servant of the servant. Naturally, we become further from Krishna. But if you see an astronomic optic machine, more you put lenses, and more you are close to the moon. Same way. By becoming the servant of the servant of the servant, we become closer to Krishna. That's now where, and your Guru Maharaj said we are here to serve only. You were here when he gave that lecture the other day in Mayapur, New Mayapur?
No, I don't know.
Yeah, and we become, very small actually. Very small to come to which size? When we become very small, it is not a movement of covering, it's the movement of uncovering. Uncovering all the layers of false ego, of mind. And if we become really ourselves, what is our size? If we become really ourselves, what is our size? 1/10,000 of the tip of an hair. And that's the door, like my Guru Maharaj Bhakti Maharaj said, that's the size of the door to the spiritual world. It's very small. If you want to enter the spiritual world, you have to become yourself, become the soul. And what to do? Commencer. Tat Viganartam Saguru Mevagachet. Tat Vigana. If you are really interested in spiritual realizing yourself, realizing your soul, Tat Viganartam Saguru Mevagachet. Samik Panik Shrotriyam Brahmanistam. You should approach a spiritual master. And the symptom of an authentic spiritual, and the symptom of an authentic spiritual master is that he's directly or indirectly, constantly engaged or talking about Krishna. If you've heard Prabhupada's classes, he's always talking about God, always talking about Krishna. Have you heard his classes? Whenever you start, God and Krishna, so that our chance that somehow or other, by inconceivable good fortune, you have come in contact with pure devotee, Krishna consciousness. What is this verse which says, Samasritaye padap? No. Samasritaye padap mat palam punya. That's not this one. Brahmande bhumite kan bhagyavan jiv guru Krishna prasadepai bhakti latavich. That's this soul we are wandering in the one universe after the other, one species after the other, But if by good fortune we come in contact with the pure devotee of the Lord, which is compared to unparalleled, unimaginable good fortune, by the mercy of Krishna and the spiritual master, the plant of devotional service is sown in our heart. Brahman, you know this verse, no? Brahmande bhumitekam bhagavan jiv guru Krishna prasadepai bhakti latavich. Bhakti lata is the plant of kripa, of devotion. So somehow there, keep faith that this plant seed has been planted in our heart, and it will grow up, and reach the lotus feet of Krishna and give good fruits, of devotional service, of the bhakti, and we can be of some use in this world at least, this fruit. What is the symptom of a rich man? We shall stop maybe now. It's 9 o'clock. What is the symptom of a rich man? Can you give some example? We can see this man. Huh?
His clothes.
His clothes, yeah.
His shoes or his car, his house.
Yeah. And what is the symptom of an exalted devotee?
Humility.
Huh?
Humility.
Yeah.
What is it?
That is bent. For example, your fruitless trees like the cypress, they are straight. But fruitful trees like mango tree, for example, they are bent. And devotees which are exalted devotees, rich in devotion, they are bent. They are bent by humility, by the fruits, because they are bearing the fruits of devotional service. So you can see the example of pure, humble devotees.
Mm.
Can you give one name? Easy. Very humble, pure Vaishnava, born in Bangladesh.
Bhakti Charan
No, late, before.
before.
Very humble. Most
Oh,
humble.
okay. This Kola Vishrita.
No. The one I'm speaking about is actually he left his body looking at Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was holding him on his lap.
Haridas Thakur.
Haridas Thakur.
Mm.
You know, he was that if you go to remote, he was Brahma, you know, and he committed an offense, and to become rid of his pride, he wanted to take birth in a not so elevated family. So he took birth in the family of Muslims.
Oh, Muslims.
Muslims. And he was so humble that he was saying, I'm Lecha. He would not enter in the temple of Jagannath Puri. He would not enter. But Jagannath, in the form of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu himself, would go and visit him in his house. You see. Last time I was in Bangladesh, I was invited by the devotees to go to his birthplace. It's near Khulna. Khulna. You know Jashore, Khulna, Mataji? No. You don't know Bangladesh.
Khulna, yes.
It was near Khulna, you know, where he
Kulia.
took birth. Haridas Thakur.
Kuliagram.
No Kuliagram. Khulna is a city in Bangladesh.
Okay.
Khulna, Jashore. It's not far from the border,
Mm.
Benapol border.
Miracle.
He would not enter, and he's a child. That's quite unimaginable. I cannot fathom this, you know.
Mm.
When there was this prostitute,
Mm.
whose name, what was her name?
Chintamani.
No,
Not
Chintamani was for
Lokohira.
Lakshahira.
Lokohira means?
Lokohira.
What does it mean?
Million diamonds.
No. She could be bought
Mm.
by 1 lakh, 1 lakh rupees. She was very, very expensive, you know. She was so beautiful. Lokohira, she was so amazing lady. And Haridas Thakur had already some fame, you know. He was very much respected. And this Kazi, you know, this ruler, he was envious. So he sent this girl to Haridas Thakur to make him fall,
Mm.
you know. And you know the story. She wanted to associate with him, and he said, "Yes, give me a minute, and just a few rounds to finish, and I will associate with you. 1 night, 2 nights, 3 nights, like that, you know." And then this sound of Hare Krishna, she became converted, you know. But there is one thing I cannot understand: is that in 3 days, what happened to her? Then she admitted, "Yes, my intention were very bad. I was mandated by the
Kazi.
Kavi, you know, and I was supposed to make you fall down and that you become, you know, become revealed as not a good person, this and that and that." But after 3 days of association, she was able to chant 300,000 words of Krishna, shaved head, white sari before one tulasi. I mean, we're chanting Hare Krishna 16 rounds. You know what it means? I almost forgot what it means. After 3 days of association with a pure devotee, actually he knew what was her intention, but he stayed just to convert her, to help her. You know, she could chant 300,000 names of Krishna direct. I mean, or she was already very exalted, or that's the power of a pure devotee of the Lord. I don't know. What do you think? How come after 3 days of association, how many years have we been practicing Krishna? Are we able to chant 300,000 names of Krishna? So it's quite extraordinary. I've been there actually. If you go from Mayapur to Dhaka, you cross the border at a place which is called Benapol. And just after, you have this temple where Haridas Thakur converted this Lokohira Mataji. And yes, Imagine. Imagine the unimaginable, huh?
Yeah, we spent a night there in that temple.
In Dhaka? Oh,
Yeah.
I have a picture of a big swan. A big, not swan, a duck.
There's
There was
some interesting
in the lake,
trees
that's
there.
a lake.
Yeah.
And you see, you see the Murti of Haridas Thakur, of Lokohira. Yeah. Oh, you spent a night. You have been to Bangladesh finally. You've been so many places, or where have you been?
In a few places.
Which one? Where have you been? Joshua?
We went to Rupsanatan.
Yeah.
Dhaka.
Dhaka also?
Yeah.
All the way to Dhaka. Huh?
Yeah, we went to very small villages. It was like a Namahata preaching program.
With Shubhag Maharaj, no? Oh yeah, he's doing that. Netrokona, did you go to this? That was his birthplace, is his birthplace.
Yes.
Me, I was lucky enough to first Bhakti Chor Maharaj enthused me to go to Bangladesh. And the first time I went to Bangladesh, it was with Subhag Maharaj. It was amazing. You know, we flew by flight. We arrived in Dhaka immediately, or the next day, very quickly. And we went to a village which is called Bogra. It's north of Dhaka. And he was immediately preaching on a tree, behind the tree. So what is the name of, comment dire Magali? Oh my God, my memory. The tree, which is growing again and again. Banyan tree. Have we seen banyan tree?
People?
No. People is different.
No.
Okay.
I had it. Anyway, he started under this tree and was preaching. I didn't have the energy, it was preaching so fluently, amazingly, And we can see it's from the abundance of the heart that the mouth talks. And he was so abundantly speaking. And I remember how also Subhag Maharaj, it was the Bhakti Chor Maharaj Vyasa Puja in Mayapur. And directly, without paper, he could speak so fluently about his God brother, So from the abundance of the heart, the mouth talk. Shall I stop now, right? I fill the gap. You have some comment or questions?
Thank you very much.
Welcome. Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita ki
Jai.
Chaitanya Prabhu ki
Jai.
Association of Devotees ki Jai.
Jai.
Gaur Premanande. Both Ghats.
Both Ghats.
Yes?
Yes.
Both Ghats. C'est this
Banyan tree.